Anyway, I'm Ken Kellam with AFS 850. That's the National FAA Safety Team. And my current assignment is with the educational outreach for the SUAS. Of course, as all of you know, the UAS must weigh less than 55 pounds. It has to be registered with the FAA. You have to have your remote pilot certificate, the 107 certificate. It's visual line of sight, daylight to civil twilight. You must yield right of way to all manned aircraft. That includes balloons, gliders, everything. I think one of the AUS guys gave me a flow chart that showed where UAS was in regards to right of way rules. And if you've ever seen the old plumbing flow chart, it's way down there. So yeah, we have to relinquish our little spot of the air to everybody else. We allow external loads. Of course, one UAS per remote pilot. No operations currently over people unless you have a waiver, and 400 feet or below. To become a 107 remote pilot, of course, you have to be at least 16 years of age, read, write, and speak the English language. I'm still struggling with some of that. You have to pass an aeronautical knowledge test at an FAA-approved knowledge testing center. That is for individuals who are not Part 61 certificate holders. A Part 61 certificate holder, if you don't know, is anybody that holds a private pilot or higher. Private or sport? Private, I believe. I'll have to look at that again. I've slept since the last time I read it. And of course, the individuals that are doing the knowledge test that are not Part 61 certificate holders will go through a TSA background check. This is a list of the provision or the regulations under 107 that are waivable. Operations from a moving vehicle, daylight ops, visual line of sight, visual observer, operation of multiple small UAS, right-of-way rules, operation over people, certain airspace, and of course operating limitations. If you want to apply for a waiver for any one of those, you can go to www.faa.gov/UAS/request, and there's actually an underscore and then waiver. And I'll show you a way to get to that on the website a little bit later. Strategies for airspace authorization request. Keep it simple. They created this graph because what was coming into the FAA was piles and piles and piles of information that really was irrelevant. So ask for exactly what you want. Make sure your location, like on the third block there, location is very specific. Don't say, I just want to do everything out here. It's got to be very specific, especially for Class Bravo and Charlie. If you're submitting it for a waiver, everything we do now is performance-based standards. So if you're going to do something, you got to say how you're going to do it. If there's risk involved, how are you mitigating those risks? In other words, it's got to be the safest operation as possible. Yeah, everything inherently has risk. Even manned aircraft have risk. So you have to tell us how you're going to mitigate some of those risks. And then read the instructions for filling out the waiver form. When I did my 107 thing, I thought, okay, I've sort of been involved in this. I'll breeze right through it. And I fell into the same trap a lot of the people fall into is they forget to read everything. And I had to go back a few pages and fix what I had messed up before it would let me go forward again. I also man the help desk for the 107 online course at FAAsafety.gov, so I get all of those questions, and it's really sort of entertaining sometimes. It's always roughly the same block of questions. I've passed the test, what do I do now? And it's like, didn't you read the paperwork that came with the test that explained what you do after you get your test? It's just things like that. People we actually have this open for everybody to go in and do, and we'll get some of the folks that are not 61 certificated, and I understand that, so I try to very methodically explain to them what they have to do. I give them the advisory circular, the 107-2, small unmanned aircraft systems. That's actually a pretty good document if you read through the whole thing. And then Chapter 6 is the remote pilot certification section. Actually, I'm sort of drifting away from the waivers, but it's just the same thing. Be specific in what you want. Ooh. Back up. No. Like I said, this rule was put together with a stakeholder committee, so we used a lot of input from the industry and individuals. And we did the same thing when we started working on the, it used to be called the micro UAS. It's operations over people. And so they formed that working group in April of 16. We reported some 4 categories that we defined as micro or operations over people. And they brought this together by using what's called an AIS, and it's the abbreviated injury scale. Is anyone familiar with that? It comes from the automotive industry. And when they crash the dummies in the car, the injuries they sustain are graded on that scale. And what they came up with, I'm just going to read this portion for you. Okay, the ARC final report outlined 4 small UAS categories for operations over people, defined primarily by risk of injury to people below the flight path. Category 1, as if the aircraft is 250 grams or less. It's a very minimal risk. Part of what they used also is a formula from NASA, velocity, mass, and blunt force impact into an individual. That was another part of it. Category 2 is if there's a less than a 1% chance of causing a level 3 or greater injury on the abbreviated injury scale. Unfortunately, I don't have a breakdown of what that is, but it has to do with the trauma to certain parts of the body. And category 2, for example, is aerial photography for like weddings and real estate. Category 3, there's a 30% chance of causing a level 3 or greater injury. And that's when it gets to that point, we say no operations over crowds or dense concentrations of people, construction sites, closed movie sets, and over agricultural workers is just some of the examples they gave. Category 4 is a 30% chance of causing a level 3 or greater injury with operations over crowds if conducted in compliance with the documented risk mitigation plan. So that's where we said if you're going to operate with the risk, you got to mitigate that risk. How are you going to handle the flyaways, and other issues like that. And then part of what we want to come up with is develop all of this in accordance with industry standards. So in other words, input from industry is going to be very, very crucial in how all of this gets developed. And that was that on that. How many people are familiar with the FAA.gov website? Quite a few of you. Oh, great. This will be easy then. To get on the drones, actually I was supposed to click something. Anyway, you click the little drone unit there and it'll take you directly into the .gov/UAS website. So you don't have to type it all in if you can't remember exactly how it works. On this website, we have, which one's a laser? Does it work? Okay. Oh, that's right. We went through that a few meetings ago. We'll do it the old-fashioned way. First time going to it, if you have somebody else that you send to this website and they want to learn all about it, tell them to go to the Getting Started link right there. And everything that's on this website, everything that's in here, you can get to through here. A lot of the stuff that's over here, you can get to through here also. We put it out there to where it's very simple to see. If they see it and read it 3 or 4 different times, hopefully they'll remember it. Anyway, you can click onto that. It'll go through, do you want to be a hobbyist? Do you want to do it for commercial work? How do you go about getting the 107 certificate? Because it's up on the screen. The advisory circular I told you about, the 107-2 is there. Complete text for the rule is here. The 107 knowledge test prep is there. So the folks that are not Part 61 certificate holders can go to that, and there's a list of knowledge areas that are hyperlinked. You click on that and it'll take you into the information for each one of those knowledge areas. Am I running around quick enough for the camera? And then the last link on there is how to fly your UAS for your work or business. A lot of people just go out, I won't say a lot of people, this happened several times, go out, grab these things, and they just start doing whatever they want to do with them. And next thing you know, they're posting pictures, selling stuff, they're over crowds. And then the dark side of the FAA. I'm the white hat side. I'm on the safety team. We don't get involved in the enforcements or anything like that. But the other guys, which I was at one time, they actually look through YouTube searches. And it's amazing what people put on YouTube because they think it's cool. And it's very illegal. Not just drones. I mean, just, I don't know if you've ever gone in and looked. It's like, yeah, there's Billy Bob again. The reporting of an accident link is here. It's the bottom one here. Your request for a waiver of airspace authorization is here. Click that, the form comes up, fill out just what it asks for. And then again, repeat of the other information, how to register your drone, becoming a UAS pilot, again, the rule. So that's all that's in there. This is FAAsafety.gov website. This is the educational outreach portion. In this area that's circled there, that's a scrolling marquee. It goes through different courses and hot topics that we have at the time. So you can click on that, and it takes you right into how to register your UAS also. Now, to take the 107 course, if you're a 61 certificate holder, or even not, you still have to register. So you can click on here on create an account. Actually, there we go. And you'll fill out the form that's in there. We now have this set up where there are preferences for UAS. So you can come in here. You don't have to be a pilot, a 61 certificate holder pilot. You can be a UAS guy. You can come in there, put down, I just want information on UAS when it comes out. So you'll probably get airspace stuff because UAS is related to that. And anything else that comes up for UAS that DFA has out. We also have in that upper left, activities, courses, seminars, and webinars. You can scroll through there. We have some UAS courses in there and background information. The no-fly zone posters are there for you. There are little business card handouts that say you must, register, you must do this, 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 and this, whether you're a hobbyist or what. It's got a little business card. I'll relate a quick little story. We have volunteers that are called safety team reps, FAA safety team reps. He has a 107 license. He's on the beach in Florida filming something. He was down there doing work, and several drones are out there. So he's just started talking to the pilots. Everybody he talked to had not registered their craft. So I sent him a whole bunch of PDF copies. Print these out, just pass them out when you're out there. That's sort of what we have to do now, because who knows when those folks bought those. It could have been 3 years ago, 5 years ago, who knows. And the other part of the equation is, if you're like me, most guys, we get something, piece of furniture, instructions, firewood, put it together and go, They're not reading the material that's included in the things. I talked with Unique and DJI at the last meeting, and they are sort of open for about putting some of that information right on the outside of the container. So if somebody's looking at it on a shelf at the store, it's going to say, you must register, and then it'll have a list of other little things. So we're working on that. We'll see where that goes. I've worked very closely with AMA. We've got AMA's website is linked to ours and vice versa, us to theirs. They're actually an industry member. If you were to scroll to the bottom of that page, there's a marquee that just runs, and it's all the industry members that participate in this website to promote safety in aviation. And so we've got AMAs very active with us in that.